These people that did this to Sam are pure evil. They're not even human. And we will get justice for you, Sam. We will, until, if it takes the last breath out of me, you will have justice.
A 24-year-old man was held in one motel room for over a month by 7 people who knew him. There were neighbors a few dozen feet away. Cops got called to that motel 8 times while it was happening, and somehow nobody put it together. When they finally found him, he'd already been dead for over a week, dumped in a field 50 miles from where he was killed. This is Sam Nordquist's story, and it's one of those cases where the more you learn, the worse it gets. Before any of this, Sam was just a guy from Minnesota. He worked at a group home, helping adults with disabilities get through their day. His mom, Linda, put it simply: he'd give you the shirt off his back. He was funny too. His old classmates remember that grin of his, the one that meant he was already 3 steps into setting up a joke. Then, in August 2024, he met someone online, and within a few weeks, that relationship would put him 1,000 miles from home, in a room he'd never walk out of alive. Her name was Precious Arzuaga. She was 38 and a mother of several kids from the Finger Lakes region of upstate New York. She and Sam started talking constantly, for hours, every single day. His mom later used a phrase that stuck with a lot of people covering this case. She love-bombed him. Sam was young for his age, and suddenly here was this woman giving him more attention than he'd probably ever gotten from anyone. On the 28th of September 2024, he packed a bag, hugged his mom on the porch, and told her he'd be back in 2 weeks. He never came home. Sam moved in with Arzuaga at a motel called Patty's Lodge, just outside Canandaigua, in a small town called Hopewell, in room 22. For a while, it looked normal, at least from the outside. They posted videos together online, a couple doing what couples do, nothing unusual. But Sam and Arzuaga weren't the only 2 people in that story. 6 other people were about to enter Sam's life, and every single one of them would eventually be charged with his murder. So let's actually meet them. Kyle Sage, 33, on parole for distributing child pornography. Patrick Goodwin, 30, a registered sex offender, convicted of child sexual abuse, out of prison less than 2 years. Jennifer Quijano, 30. Kimberly Sochia, 29. Thomas Eves, 21, who happened to be Arzuaga's own son. And then Emily Modica, just 19. No criminal history at all. She'd only been living at that motel for about 2 weeks before everything came apart. 7 people, some of them romantically tangled up with each other, all allegedly in that room, who made conscious decisions over the cause of a month to torture one man. And starting around December 2024, prosecutors say every one of them, and I mean everyone, took a part in torturing Sam. Prosecutors said in court, and I quote, "We'll never know the answer to why, because what human being could do what happened to Sam?"
And I know many will ask the question, why? Well, as I stand here today as a human being, we'll never know the answer why. What human being could do what happened to Sam? We'll never make sense of this case.
According to the indictment, Sam was confined to that room, made to kneel or stand facing the wall for hours at a time. He was sexually assaulted with a table leg and broomsticks and was beaten with sticks, belts, dog toys, ropes, canes, and bottles. He was denied food, he was denied water, and it doesn't stop there. Prosecutors say he was forced to eat feces, forced to drink urine. The assistant DA later told reporters his captors treated him like a dog. In my own opinion, even dogs are most times treated with more kindness. Now, here's what makes this case different from the usual true crime cases. Nobody snatched Sam off the street. He walked into this. For love, basically. And then slowly, the walls closed in. His phone access disappeared. The texts that did make it out started sounding off, his family said. It was not like himself. By January 2025, the daily calls his mom used to get had turned into almost nothing, and that's when the panic started setting in. Linda Nordquist says she called the police more than once, asked them to go check on her son, She says those calls went nowhere. And here's the part that'll actually make you angry. NBC News later dug up records showing police were called to Patty's Lodge 8 separate times during the exact stretch Sam was allegedly being tortured there. 8 calls to the cops, that exact motel. At the same time, a man was being beaten, tortured, and sexually assaulted inside a room barely 50 feet from the front office. And somehow, nobody connected the dots. Prosecutors say Sam died from his injuries around the 2nd of February, 2025. It didn't happen fast. They claimed that it unfolded over weeks, even extending into months, a prolonged period of relentless abuse that wore down his body until he could no longer endure and gave up. And even after he died, it wasn't over. Investigators allege the group poured bleach over his body, wrapped him in black plastic bags, and loaded him into a car. Then drove him 50 miles away and left his body in an empty field in a different county entirely like he'd never existed. On the 9th of February, 2025, Sam's family, who by now hadn't heard from him in over a month, filed a missing persons report. New York State Police didn't waste time. Within days, they had a search warrant for Patty's Lodge. What they found inside room 22 was enough for Captain Kelly Swift, a state police commander who's seen a lot in her career, to call it, on the record, one of the most horrific crimes she had ever investigated.
Good morning, and thank you all for being here today. I am Kelly Swift, Captain of the Bureau of Criminal Investigation with the New York State Police and Troop E. We are here to provide an update on an ongoing homicide investigation in Ontario and Yates counties. On February 13th, 2025, our investigators executed a search warrant at Patty's Lodge, room number 22 in the town of Hopewell, as part of an investigation into the disappearance of Sam Nordquist. Our investigation has revealed a deeply disturbing pattern of abuse that ultimately resulted in Sam's tragic death. Over the past 72 hours, our investigators and multiple law enforcement agencies have worked tirelessly to uncover the details surrounding this case. Based on evidence and witness statements, we have determined that Sam endured prolonged physical and psychological abuse at the hands of multiple individuals. Our investigation has confirmed that from early December 2024 to February 2025, Sam was subjected to repeated acts of violence and torture in a manner that ultimately led to his death. His body was then transported in an attempt to conceal the crime and was later discovered in a field off Payne Road in the town of Benton, Yates County. Following a comprehensive investigation in collaboration with the Ontario County District Attorney's Office, we have charged the following individuals with murder in the second degree under the depraved indifference statute. Precious Arzawaga, age 38, of Canandaigua, New York. Jennifer Quijano, age 30, of Geneva, New York. Kyle Sage, age 33, of Rochester, New York. Patrick Goodwin, age 30, of Canandaigua, New York. Emily Motaika, age 19, of Lima, New York. They have been taken into custody and are being held pending arraignment. We understand that the details of this case are deeply unsettling, and we want to assure the public that we are committed to seeking justice for Sam and his family. Additional investigative steps are ongoing, including forensic analysis of electronic devices, vehicle searches, and further interviews. We encourage anyone with additional information related to this case to come forward and assist law enforcement in bringing full accountability to those involved. I want to express our deepest condolences to Sam's family and friends. In my 20-year law enforcement career, this is one of the most horrific crimes I have ever investigated. My thoughts are with Sam's family during this time.
That same day, February 9th, 5 suspects were arrested. 11 days later, 2 more were charged, including Arzwaga's own son. 7 people, 1 motel. And the deeper investigators got into this case, the darker it kept getting. When the grand jury indictment came out in March 2025, it included something that hadn't been made public before. Prosecutors said Arzwaga forced her own children, ages 7 and 12, to take part in Sam's torture.
I have a 7-year-old and a 12-year-old who are also victims They may have been forced to participate, but their lives are forever changed by what they saw and endured in there.
The assistant DA got visibly emotional reading that part out at the press conference. 2 kids, made to hurt a grown man, in that same motel room, with their own mother allegedly directing it. 2 more victims this case created, and they'll be carrying that for the rest of their lives. Here's where this case turned into something bigger than just a local tragedy. Sam was a black transgender man. Groups like GLAAD publicly pushed prosecutors to file hate crime charges. Prosecutors said no. They went with a charge that's barely ever used in New York: first-degree torture murder. It requires proving all 7 defendants tortured Sam because they enjoyed it. And it already carries the maximum sentence New York has: life without parole.
A hate crime would make this charge about Sam's gender or about Sam's race, and it's so much bigger. Sam was beaten, assaulted, sexually abused, starved, held captive. A hate crime would make this charge about Sam's gender or about Sam's race, and it's so much bigger. To limit us to a hate crime would be an injustice to Sam. It's a rare circumstance where we stand before you and charge this subdivision of murder in the first degree, where it alleges that somebody was tortured to death. It specifically requires that we prove that all 7 defendants tortured Sam Nordquist, and that they did so because they enjoyed it.
The lead prosecutor didn't dance around it. To limit us to a hate crime would be an injustice to Sam. Not everyone bought that reasoning, and honestly, that debate hasn't really ended. Vigils popped up across 2 states: Rochester, Canandaigua, St. Paul, and Sam's hometown of Red Wing, where more than 100 people packed into a church just to grieve together. Both governors put out statements. A petition demanding harsher consequences picked up almost 18,000 signatures in weeks, but none of that was justice yet. For Sam's family, it was just the start of a legal fight that would stretch on for years. For over a year, all 7 stuck to not guilty pleas. The hearings dragged. Trial dates kept getting pushed. Then, on the 2nd of June 2026, Emily Motaika, the youngest of the group, the one with no prior criminal records, did something none of the others had done yet. She pleaded guilty to second-degree murder and kidnapping. In her own words, she admitted to punching, kicking, and restraining Sam, acting with depraved indifference to human life. Her attorney said she just wanted to finally make it right, as much as that's even possible. Weeks later came the moment Sam's family had been waiting 17 months for. The 26th of June, 2026, Precious Arzuaga, the woman Sam crossed the country to be with, stood up in Ontario County Court and pleaded guilty to every single charge against her, all 11 counts, including first-degree murder. She admitted she was the one who helped hide his body. Sam's mom and sister drove 11 hours from Minnesota to sit in that courtroom, the first time either of them had ever been in the same room as any of the 7. Arzuaga cried through her plea. Sam's sister, Kayla, wasn't buying it. She said, "I don't believe she feels guilty now."
24 years old is too young to die, and is too young to be murdered and tortured to death. I don't know why she all of a sudden feels guilty. She wasn't guilty when she was raping him and beating him and starving him. She didn't feel guilty then. I don't believe she feels guilty now.
Arzuaga is expected to receive a life sentence without parole in state court. She is also reportedly under a separate federal investigation where the death penalty has not been ruled out.
There was no plea deal, there was no anything of that nature. She got nothing in exchange, so to speak, for her plea. She accepted responsibility, and now sentencing is in September.
So that's 2 down, 5 still to go. Kyle Sage and Patrick Goodwin, the 2 registered sex offenders, are set to be tried together sometime in 2027. Jennifer Quijano goes first, early 2027. Kimberly Sochia and Thomas Eves don't even have trial dates yet, which means the full story of what actually happened inside Room 22 hasn't been told in open court. Not completely. Not yet. And the motel itself? Patty's Lodge stayed open for more than a year after Sam's murder. Other tenants kept living there, walking past room 22 every day like it was any other door. Then, in 2026, under new ownership, everyone got told to clear out within 11 days. No real explanation given. Legal advocates called the eviction unlawful. Sam's sister summed up what a lot of people were thinking. It should have been shut down immediately. On what would have been his 25th birthday, friends and family gathered at a lake in Canandaigua and released doves. His name's now permanently on the Stone Wall of Honor in New York City, alongside other LGBTQ people lost to violence. His old high school back in Minnesota set up a scholarship in his name. A guy who crossed the country chasing love ended up becoming something else entirely, proof of exactly how badly the systems meant to protect people can fail them.
Sam will never have another birthday, another holiday, another family dinner, another family vacation, won't get married ever, won't have children ever. He's gone, 24. Too young. He had a lot to live for.
8 police calls were made. All went nowhere. This case isn't over. Not legally, and definitely not for his family. Every time one of the remaining 5 walks into that courtroom, his mother says she'll be sitting right there every single time. If this case moved you, subscribe to watch more cases that deserve to be remembered, and comment below. What part of this case shocked you most?